Trust News Center. This is the news.
On News Hour tonight, GMD NNPC Limited apologizes over fuel scarcity, says queues will disappear next week. Senate probes abandoned 400 billion naira primary healthcare center project across 774 local government areas initiated by Obasanjo's administration. Internally displaced persons in Zamfara State seek government intervention. And on the foreign scene, Burkina Faso junta chief Paul Henri Sandaogo sworn in as president. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Now the news in full. The Group Managing Director of the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC Limited, Bele Kyari, says local production of premium motor spirit will be the solution to incessant fuel scarcity in the country. Kyari gave the assurance at a meeting with an ad hoc committee of the House of Representatives investigating the circumstances surrounding the importation of the adulterated fuel into the country, assuring that the current fuel scarcity will be over by next week. The report.
The meeting is convened for the NNPC GMD to explain to the lawmakers the current fuel scarcity in the country, which has a negative effect on the people. Over the week, long queues have resurfaced at petrol stations in most of the major cities, following recent scarcity after major marketers imported adulterated product into the country. While some fuel stations are locked, the few that are open have motorists waiting for hours to buy fuel. This problem is caused by importation of adulterated PMS, which is confirmed to have a high percentage of methanol.
Even though methanol is a regular additive in petrol, but it is usually blended to acceptable quantity. The recent supply are in excess of this additive, of which it's resulted in consequences. It's injuries to our fragile economy and the generality of our citizens.
We know all the trucks that leave our depots, but we do not know where they end up. This is reality. It is not possible. There is no tracking mechanism to enable this. And we also all know that some of these products find their ways to the places that may not be in this country. I don't have statistics to back this up, but we know that smuggling takes place. I'm sure very honorable members, you will agree that this is the reality that is happening.
Lawmakers quizzed further on why the contaminated fuel is not detected prior to the importation into the country or after. They say NNPC has no excuse. However, the GMD says the NNPC lacks the facility to detect such, but promised to ensure such does not happen again.
Emulsification, when you have water and then it's not mixing with methanol, things like this are bound to happen. So what are we doing to remedy this? I know you have stopped vessels from coming in, you have quarantined these ones. If this happens again, Nigerians are likely to, to be angry. So what are we going to do to prevent this going forward? It's obvious there's a mistake here.
If it is that they already know the specifications which come to Nigeria, why would they send us something that is not meant for Nigeria?
Ignorance, which we are all claiming here, cannot be excused that we are saying Nigerians will continue to suffer. Somebody must take responsibility for this. Because if we don't, somebody will say something similar to that in the future. So what I'm trying to say here is that we are going to need a lot of relevant documentation to the fact that you are not aware that such practice took place.
We have said that this product meets our specification. Every test that we need to do, we have done it to make sure that this product meets our specification. And the only good faith, that is what I say, only good faith of your supplier will tell you, or some kind of intelligence information that you have. Otherwise, there is no way you will know that this product will contain methanol. Let me also repeat, again for this purpose. First, we did not know that this product contained methanol. We absolutely didn't know. Your investigation will give you the reality at the end of the tunnel. And once you have this situation and you withdraw volumes in the market, you will have supply disruption. It comes with consequences. We are very conscious of the consequences that it will come with it. The queues that you are seeing, the disruption of economic activities that is very, very obvious, and also in terms of the liquidated damages, that can be a legal process where you may not be able to recover your position. So we are aware of this. We regret this situation, and of course it is completely unavoidable. We didn't see it coming. I apologize to Nigerians that we didn't see this coming.
The committee then adjourned but promised to invite the GMD after speaking with the 4 major marketers indicted for importing the adulterated fuel into the country.
The Nigerian Senate has mandated its committees on health, primary health care, communicable diseases, works and housing to investigate the abandoned 400 billion naira National Primary Health Center project initiated by former President Olusegun Obasanjo across the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. The resolution was reached on Wednesday after Senate considered a motion to that effect. The report.
The motion tagged "Need to investigate the abandoned 400 billion naira National Primary Health Care Center project" was sponsored by Senator Yaya Ibrahim Oluregbe, representing Kwara Central Senatorial District. The primary health care centers were conceived to cover all the 774 local government areas in the country. However, years after conception, the project is yet to see the light of day.
The Senate notes that a National Primary Health Care Center project was initiated by the administration of the former President Olusegun Obasanjo in the year 2006 to build in each of the 774 local government areas in Nigeria a 60-bed health centers, which was to be complemented with 3-bedroom flats, doctor's quarters, an ambulance, and all basic hospital equipment and drugs. The Senate further notes that in order to achieve this lofty project, the federal government deducted monies from the excess crude account of all the 774 local government area on a monthly basis, whereas the same money with the then Platinum Abib Bank, now Keystone Bank, until the funds required for the actualization of the project was realized.
Lawmakers who spoke in support of the motion said the issue of the project is well overdue.
Mr. President, I think this is an opportunity for us to really look into this matter dispassionately and put the blame where it is, because Nigerians have been shortchanged about the project. The money has been paid very substantially, but there's nothing to show for it.
Mr. President, this is one time to make good what we have said about the 9th Senate. The investigation must go on. We must be able to lay the blames where they should be really, and something good must come out of this. 440 billion naira, Mr. President, is something that would work well for our people in the health sector.
The Senate has then mandated the Committee on Health to carry out full-scale investigation into the abandoned project.
Internally displaced persons, IDPs in Zamfara State, want the state government and public-spirited individuals to come to their aid to alleviate their plight. The IDPs said they are facing many challenges, including lack of food, shelter and clothing. The report.
Bandits' activities in Zamfara State has ravaged several communities, claimed many lives and displaced nearly 600,000 persons, mostly women and children, as well as affected over 184,000 households in the state. The number of the internally displaced persons in the state may be more than this, as communities are being sacked daily by the bandits. The displaced have no roof to put their heads and they are left roaming the streets, begging for what they will eat with their children, while others are accommodated at their relatives' or friends' residence, pending when the security situation will improve so that they can return to their communities. This is because there is no official internally displaced persons IDPs camps in Zamfara State. Tsunami Community is a suburb of Gusau metropolis, and there are about 3,000 IDPs who were displaced from different communities and local councils. They usually go out in the morning to look for daily bread for their families.
What happened to us in our village is they chased us from our houses and they came back again yesterday. They killed my brother and injured me, but I was taken to the hospital. They took all our things and took other people's property like goods and other stuffs. All the women suffered a lot. No woman will say this is what they did to her. She will only say she suffered. You know, we women, we are gentle and shy. They did all kinds of stuff with them. We request the government to assist us with foodstuffs. What happened to us was armed robbers entered our village. They killed people and also took women. Some of us lost our husbands. The problem we are facing is lack of shelter, food and clothes. Please, the government should assist us.
The husbands of some of the women were killed when the bandits invaded their communities, leaving them with the responsibility of catering for many children. The IDPs want government and wealthy individuals to help reduce their plights. They said their immediate needs are foods, shelters and clothing for themselves and their children.
I am grateful to God. We seek the assistance of those that have means to help us with shelter and foodstuffs. They shot my husband 3 times and I took my children to the hospital. We were able to farm last year, but we didn't get the chance to farm this year. We migrated from our houses. My son was shot and my husband is dead. We are grateful to those that are providing us with food. We need the government to assist us.
The internally displaced persons in Zamfara State go through a pathetic situation, hoping that one day banditry will end so that they can return home.
Management of Ahmadu Bello University has threatened to begin contempt proceedings against Kaduna State Governor Nasiru El-Rufai over encroachment of the university land covering 196.258 hectares, housing its College of Agriculture and Animal Science, Mando, in Igabi local government area of the state. Kaduna State High Court, Zaria Division, granted an interim order restraining the governor and Kaduna State Attorney General and agents from further action on the said land. The report.
Staff of Kaduna State Urban Development Authority, Kasubda, had moved to the disputed land, demolition a perimeter fence earlier erected by the Ahmadu Bello University.
On a serious note, it's not taken legally, as far as I can see. The land which belongs to ABU, if it is to be seized and allocated back to state government, there should be documents in relation to those things. But sincerely speaking, there's the ones wrote a letter that which I forwarded to my director, and it has gone up to the vice chancellor, that they wanted to use part of the land belonging to College of Agriculture and Animal Science. So as it is, we've done what is expected of us. Anything that comes in newly, at least as custodians of the land and the college, we have to report to our superiors, which we've done already. So I think this land is being taken illegally.
A letter served on Kasubda and Kaduna Geographic Information Service Kadgis on Tuesday by ABU warned that unless the agents of government desist from further destruction of the land, the plaintiff will proceed with contempt proceedings against the government. The letter, written by a lawyer of the ABU, said that in spite of the pending court order served on the government, Kasubda and Kadgis have directed their agents to trespass on the land that is subject of litigation, causing massive destruction on the land. The land in contention is to be used by the Kaduna State government for residential, commercial, recreational and public use, which will be divided into about 529 plots, covering an area of 133.89 hectares. When contacted on the issue, the Director General of Kadgis, Altine Jibrin, said the agency will not comment on the issue as the matter is in court. And Kasubda, the agency's public relations officer Nuhu Garba, said Kasubda will respond at the right time. Fatima Salaladen, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now to judicial matters. Trial of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra leader Nnamdi Kanu resumed on Wednesday at the Federal High Court in Abuja with his family members in the courtroom. Kanu made an appearance in court wearing his regular Fendi outfit, despite the order by trial judge Justice Binta Inyako that the DSS should allow him to change his outfit before his next appearance in court. The lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, Mike Ezehome, at the commencement of the hearing, lamented that since arrest and detention, his eyeglasses had been seized by the DSS and has not been returned to him, and asked that his eyeglasses be returned to him so that he doesn't go blind. Meanwhile, trial judge Justice Binta Inyako has fixed April 8 to rule on Kanu's application for the charge against him to be quashed. Counsel to Kanu and part of the prosecution counsel, Shaibu Labaran, shed more light on their separate arguments.
Today, the motion seeking to quash the charge was moved, and we also adopted our counter affidavits stating that they came on the wrong side of the law, and we take steps to bring to the attention of the court the relevant provisions of the law that suggest that this charge is well-founded and it is filed appropriately and filed at the right place and in accordance with the extant rule and the law that guides the procedure of this honorable court.
No, not the two applications, one. That is the one that is jurisdictional, which is saying that all the 15 counts in the charge are bad, and bad. Like I described it before the court, they are as dead as dodo. All that the court requires is to give them a decent burial, because there is nothing whatsoever in the counts at all. You are accusing Nnamdi Kanu of making some broadcast. You didn't say where this broadcast was made. Was it made in the spirit world? Was it made in the air? Was it made under the ground? You didn't state. That was to run away from the first count they had fired, which we attacked when they had mentioned the United Kingdom. So they thought that by not mentioning a place, they had gotten away from it. But as a matter of fact, they have worsened their case, because the Federal High Court Act says specifically, Section 34, that you must state the very location, specific location where an offense has been committed.
Now to matters of insecurity, where at least 4 travelers have been attacked and killed, while many others were injured on Wednesday in Jos North local government area of Plateau State. Ado Musa gives an update.
This is Jamaat Nusrat Islam Central Box, where the survivors of the incident were brought. What actually happened was at about 12 a.m. midnight of Wednesday, when the travelers were passing through Jos. Suddenly some hoodlums attacked them around Bidabidi Junction, just not local government area of the Plateau State. According to the account of the survivors, they were beaten and macheted, which led to the death of 4 of them, including the driver. Many people were saying that the latest attack is connected to the Tuesday's attack at mining sites at Yelwazagam, where 2 miners were killed. Plateau State Police Command ASP Uba Gabriel confirmed the incident, but said only 2 people were killed. Here are some of the survivors who share their experiences.
We are coming from Kanu to Nasarawa State, and unexpectedly, some people with sticks, machete, and other dangerous weapons in their numbers stopped us on the road and started smashing our vehicle. We were all confused. While we were trying to go out of the vehicle, they started beating and macheting us with dangerous weapons. Luckily enough, a trailer arrived at the scene, and their attention shifted toward the trailer. Some of us who were strong enough fled the area, but my friend, whom we went to Kano to buy textile material, was killed. Yesterday, we were on our way from Kano to Nasarawa when we met some people on the road. They asked us to come out of the vehicle. Before you know anything, they smashed the windscreen of our vehicle. They started beating us. We were all confused. I fell down, but I later stood up and fled the area. We are lucky that we are alive. We thank God.
However, the Plateau State Governor Simon Bakolalon has condemned the incident in its totality and asked the security agencies to investigate the matter and bring the perpetrators to justice.
Meanwhile, northern groups comprising the Coalition of Northern Groups in Nigeria, CNG, and the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, AYCF, have condemned the recent attack on northerners at the cattle market in Abia State, which claimed the lives of 8 people, describing the act as unacceptable. The CNG spokesperson, Abdul Aziz Suleiman, on behalf of the groups, while reacting to the attack, called on the state government to act quickly and bring the culprits to book, and warned that the North will no longer tolerate unwarranted attacks on its people living as minorities in the southeast or any other part of the country. Recall that hoodlums on Tuesday, February 15th, invaded traders at the new cattle market located at Umuma Uzo, Ukwa West local government area of Abia State, killing 8 people. Now, the ban on activities of volunteer security, otherwise known as NSAK in Katsina, is generating reaction in view of the insecurity challenges confronting the state. Though the volunteer NSAK are not recognized by the government, security experts say integrating them into vigilantes or conventional security outfits will assist greatly in restoring peace. Abdullahi Amadi tells us more.
Integrating the volunteer securities, popularly known as NSAK, will give them the opportunity to contribute in providing security and prevent them from being potential recruits into banditry or political thuggery. Abubakar Ibrahim, who is also a retired military officer and a former commandant presidential guards during Sani Abacha administration, commends the Masari-led government for banning the activities of NSAK, but calls for caution and engage them into something reasonable.
If you ban NSAK, then you must bring him under structured command, so that at every second of the clock you know his whereabouts. NSAK is no other person but somebody who has developed capacity for extreme violence. And letting loose that person and not putting him under structured command and not giving him something to do is dangerous.
He also called for more sensitization to enable the NSAK be well informed about their ban so as not to engage in anything that could foment trouble. Other respondents such as Nura Muhammad and Aminu Musa Tasha Ankara Faskari local government were of the opinion that the government should also empower the conventional vigilantes to make them more result-oriented. This will go a long way in complementing other security outfits to forestall the current security challenges bedeviling some parts of Katsina State. Ban of NSAK in Katsina State is a good omen. The government has done well, but I want the government to also empower the NSAK. Done so many things that went out of hand, and you cannot allow some few individuals be taking laws into their hands. Really, NSAK have their advantage and their disadvantages. I was born in Ankara village, and I saw one deaf man who was very used to our family. We were family friends, but just like that, some members of NSAK group came to our community and killed him innocently. That is rather unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Their activities is worrisome. But to some extent, sometimes they contribute towards maintaining law and order in some communities. So you see, they have their advantage and their disadvantage. However, The special advisor to Governor Aminu Bello Masari on security matters, Alhaji Ibrahim Muhammad Katsina, who lamented the activities of the volunteer security, said Yansa Kai only provoke violence rather than taking measures to prevent crises. He said the insecurity has escalated as a result of the activities of Yansa Kai and assured that government will not fold its arms watching some few elements taking advantage of insecurity to launch reprisal attacks on innocent people.
Yansa Kai are not volunteer groups. Okay. They are criminal elements that present themselves as volunteer groups in order to perpetrate crime. There is clear distinction between vigilante volunteer groups and Yansa Kai. Literally, what is the meaning of Yansa Kai even in Hausa? Somebody who is on his own volition doing what he thinks is right. So as far as we are concerned, Yansa Kai are doing criminal activities even based on the order that is banning them. We have stated it clearly. They provoke unprovoked action by selective criminal activities, in the sense that they go to Fulani settlements, they go to markets, select Fulani, segregate them, go and kill them in cold blood without recourse to justice.
The SA security to Governor Masari maintained that they will keep their ears to the ground and act swiftly anywhere the government receive a report of the activities of Yansa Kai. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're watching Trust TV News Hour. Coming up after the break. Jail term risk over refuse disposal. This and more after the break. Do stay with us.
The management of the Northern Broadcast Media Owners Association, NBMOA, cordially invites all members of the association to the 7th Annual General Meeting, which will take place in Kano as follows. Pre-AGM, date, Sunday 20th of February 2022, time 2 p.m, venue, Babale Suites, number 8 Dabo Mohammed Close, Kano. Award night, date, Sunday 20th of February 2022, time 8 p.m, venue, Dabo TV Center, BUK Road, Kano. AGM opening ceremony, date, Monday 21st February 2022, time 10 a.m, venue, Bristol Palace Hotel, Newsmaker Town Hall, date, Monday 21st of February 2022, time 2 p.m, venue, Bristol Palace Hotel, Kano. Chief host and special guest of honor, His Excellency Dr. Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, the Executive Governor of Kano State. Royal Fathers of the Day, His Royal Highness the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, His Royal Highness the Emir of Bichi, Alhaji Nasiru Ado Bayero. Guests of the Newsmaker Town Hall, former Senate President Senator Abubakar Bukola Saraki, Private Sector Ambassador Dr. Dauda Lawal Dari. Special award and honor, Sir Ahmed Bello, Sardauna of Sokoto, General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, Honorable Alhassan Ado Dogua, Distinguished Senator Aisha Dahiru Binani, Honorable Minister Sadia Umar Farouk, Malan Yakubu Ibn Muhammad, Alhaji Balarab Shehu Ilela, Ahmed Musa. Announcer Alhaji Abdullahi Yelwa, Ajian Yauri, Acting Chairman, Northern Broadcast Media Owners Association, NBMOA.
Coronavirus disease, COVID-19, is an infectious disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 virus. Most people who fall sick with COVID-19 will experience mild to moderate symptoms and recover without special treatment. However, some will become seriously ill and require medical attention. The virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe. These particles range from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. You can be infected by breathing in the virus if you're near someone who has COVID-19, or by touching a contaminated surface and then touching your eyes, nose, or mouth. The virus spreads more easily indoors and in crowded settings. Maintain a safe distance from others, at least 2 meters, even if they don't appear to be sick. Wear a mask in public, especially indoors or when physical distancing is not possible. Clean your hands often. Use soap and water or an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Cover your nose and mouth with your bent elbow or a tissue when you cough or sneeze. Stay home if you feel unwell. Get vaccinated. Properly fitted masks can help prevent the spread of the virus from the person wearing the mask to others. Masks alone do not protect against COVID-19 and should be combined with physical distancing and hand hygiene. Protect yourself and others around you by knowing the facts and taking appropriate precautions. Follow advice provided by your local health authority. This message is brought to you by Trust TV.
Welcome back. You're still watching Trust TV News Hour. Now a look at our top stories. Group Managing Director of Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation NNPC Limited, Mele Kyari, says local production of premium motor spirit will be the solution to incessant fuel scarcity in the country. And the Nigerian Senate has mandated its committees on health, primary health care and communicable disease, works and housing to investigate the abandoned 400 billion naira National Primary Health Center project initiated by former President Olusegun Obasanjo across the 774 local government areas in Nigeria. And moving on to other stories, Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema is advising states across Nigeria to have peace institutes or committees to engender peace across the country. Declaring open a two-day management retreat of Institute of Peace and Conflict Resolution in Ilorin, Kwara State, the minister also appealed to local government areas to do the same. The peace retreat is at the instance of the Institute for Peace and Conflict Resolution, and the essence is to reposition the Institute for Sustainable Peace, Security and National Integration. The retreat is coming at a time when Nigeria is facing internal security challenges and is equally preparing for another round of general elections. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema wants peace institutes to be domesticated by state and local government areas for sustainable peace process. The minister who declared the retreat open was represented at the event.
Play pivotal roles in settling community disputes and conflicts, which are the major sources of most security threats bedeviling our country today. However, they appear handicapped due to lack of power to adequately respond to conflicts and breach of security situations. The partnership with the National Assembly is apt because everyone in the country is represented in the National Assembly through their representatives in both the House of Representatives and the Senate, making the zonal intervention project a strategic avenue through which to specifically design and implement programs to help build capacity and empower traditional rulers and all community stakeholders to strengthen community peacekeeping structures and foster peaceful coexistence across the country. I would like to see similar partnerships with state governments geared at encouraging states to set up state-level peace agencies. Currently, there are 3 states, Plateau, Kaduna, and Adamawa, that have established peace agencies and commissions to address communal conflicts and the roots of insurgents.
We want to engage in institutional self-assessment so as to be effective in responding to the rising threats to peace, security, and development in Nigeria. We also want to create a platform for institutional self-assessment and self-reflection on our journey so far. And then, of course, to map out strategies for responding to the threats to peace, security, and development in this country as well as Africa in general. These are the 3 objectives which we hope to achieve.
We apologize for the audio quality in that report. Meanwhile, the management of Government College Jos and old boys of the school have decried dilapidation of the school structures and bad condition of the school environment. The school, which was established in 1969 as Pivotal College Jos, later transformed to Teachers College Jos, and now Government College Jos is situated along Jos Azaria Road and the only government boarding school in Jos. The management and the old students made the cry during the first National Convention of Old Boys of the institution. Ado Abubakar, who visited the institution, examined the condition of the school.
This is former Pivotal College Jos, established in 1969, later transformed to Teachers College Jos, and now Government College Jos. It is the only government boarding school in the capital city of Jos, situated along Zaria Road of Jos North local government area of the state. The negligence of the school by the federal government has put the college in jeopardy and sorry conditions, with classes, hostels, and dining room and other significant structures look dilapidated. Most of the abandoned hostels have become dens of criminals and reptiles. The principal of the college expressed worry about the situation of the school.
They have rescued the name of this school some few months back. Teachers volunteered within the stipends that they have paid. We gathered money in conjunction with the PTA and we started the fencing of Government College Jos. The school was established in 1969, but since its inception there has not been anything like fence. And because of the insecurity around, we decided to tax ourselves and started it.
The chairman of the old boys of the college also lamented about the condition of the college.
The situation of the school is so pathetic. Very, very. If you can just see around, you will see when we were in the school, there were 2 major hostels for the girls, which contains 2 or 4 houses, and so also for the boys. But presently, you can see the girls are using one and the boys are using one. The other ones are in a state of no accommodation at all. Nobody can be able to be there.
Why?
Because of the dilapidated nature, because of it has been left without renovation for a very, very long time. And that is the state of the school.
Some of the students of the school put their voices on the situation.
Our challenges is about the snakes and the frogs, the kind of water that are taking, and the toilets where we defecate and defecate, and the people usually enter, strangers usually enter to the fence.
According to the management, the college since inception was being maintained by the school's Parent-Teachers Association, but due to the current economic hardship, the parents couldn't longer bear the burden. Ado Abubakar Musa, Trust TV, Jos.
Kebbi State Urban Development Authority is set to commence prosecuting people who indiscriminately dump refuse in unauthorized dumping sites to curtail rampant defacing of public places and drainages with waste. In Kebbi, the state capital has recently been experiencing an increase in the amount of waste being dumped by people either in drainages or street corners, an act that poses a threat to public health. Hamza Galadima takes a look at the situation. His report.
Waste management in every society is an important aspect of town planning, as it is geared towards ensuring a clean and healthy environment in which people can live in peace with nature and its elements. Indiscriminate dumping of waste, however, does the opposite, as it degrades the environment and also creates an unhealthy atmosphere which is suitable for the breeding of germs and other viruses that could lead to outbreak of diseases. Hajia Fatima B. Umar, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry for Environment, Kebbi State, highlighted on the dangers of the indiscriminate dumping of waste to the environment, saying apart from the medical or health implications, this attitude also helps in polluting the atmosphere as well as create an unpleasant eyesore to the onlookers.
We all know refuse or waste not only defaces the beauty of the environment, but also pollute it and poses danger to the society.
In Birnin Kebbi, the Kebbi state capital, the indiscriminate dumping of waste by members of the public has taken over most of the capital, creating a sorry sight and blocking gutters and waterways. Drainages outlining the landscape of most public places have now become dumping sites where people dump waste of different kinds, hindering the free flow of wastewater, hence creating a potential flood flashpoints. On street corners and along the perimeter walls of most businesses and private residences, heap of waste and other refuse elements decorate landscape, defacing the beauty of the environment and providing potential hiding and breeding places for rodents and reptiles. This nonchalant attitude, according to the General Manager of the Kebbi State Urban Development Authority, Engineer Aliyu Umar, has been a source of worry for the authority, despite repeated efforts to sensitize members of the public on the implications of dumping waste indiscriminately. He further said henceforth Kuda will be forced to deploy its sanitary inspectors all around the state capital in the effort to check the menace.
So this habit of indiscriminate disposal of refuse actually is worrisome. Kuda has been advising people to always take their refuse to the disposal point so that our people may easily go there and pack it appropriately. Presently, our sanitary inspectors are going around to ensure people are obeying the Kebbi Urban Development Authority directives or laws.
Speaking on the repercussion that awaits defaulters, the Kebbi State Commissioner for Lands and Housing, the Supervising Ministry for Kuda, Alhaji Mahmoud Awara, said after sensitizing members of the public on the need to stop dumping refuse indiscriminately, defaulters who are found wanting will be prosecuted by the State Sanitary Mobile Court to serve as a deterrent to others.
And what we usually do now is the sensitization. We are trying to let people know about the law, the edit, so that we will not take them by surprise. Even though they know, some people used to ignore it. But what we are doing now, we are trying to do a lot of sensitization to them, to know the rules, the regulations. But if maybe, there is no any change, then we have to take the other side of it, which we don't want to do that. Now we are trying to do a lot of sensitization for them to know that there's penalty, on that, on this and on that, especially on the issue of sanitation. So we are trying to do sensitization, through the village heads, the district heads, the traditional rulers, all of them, the media, so that people should know what to do and what not to do, so to avoid the penalty.
But until then, the heap of refuse on the streets and drainages of Birnin Kebbi will continue to grow and keep posing health hazard to the inhabitants of the city. Hamza Galadi Mazuru, Trust TV News from Birnin Kebbi.
Gombe State government says low intake of COVID-19 vaccine in the state is a source of worry. Latest data released by the COVID-19 Management Committee in the state reveals that only 12% of 1.9 million targeted population are vaccinated so far. Ibrahim Ismail now reports.
Worried about the statistics showing that only 12% of the state targeted population is vaccinated against COVID-19, Gombe State government has summoned stakeholders meeting. Speaking at the event, the Deputy Governor, who is also the Chairman COVID-19 Management Committee, urged stakeholders to do more and get people vaccinated against the pandemic.
I was in Abuja with the meeting with the President, and Gombe was known among
the states that are not doing very well in vaccination is not a good story. Whatever we do here is important to the presidency. So when they say they are not doing well, and they say Nasarawa and Jigawa are not doing well, I felt sad because I thought we were doing now. Please, we must act on. We must act on. Today is not a directive from the deputy governor or the chairman. We are going to put our heads together here. You have heard that they are not vaccinating people enough. We will listen to all contributions from the traditional rulers, from the actors, to suggest or even identify why our people are not going for vaccination.
According to a report released by the Gombe State government, so far a total number of 277,000 took the jab, representing 12% of 1,940,630 targeted population.
While only 14% took their second dose. Therefore, to HG, they have 10% of their target population that took their first dose, but only 5% took their second dose. So cumulatively, the state summary is 12% of the target population that took their first dose, while only 6% took their second dose. Next slide. So having said that, we have come up with a target that we want to ensure that this target has been vaccinated before the end of March. And if we do that, we are going to reach a 50% that is expected of us.
The State Ministry of Information attributed the low vaccination rate to fake news being circulating over safety reasons.
We need to fight against what is called in the information cycle infodemics. Just like we have the pandemic, we also have infodemics. The infodemics is the fake news that flies faster than the correct news. It's also a disease out there. Unless and until we are able to take care of that, we will continue to have resistance. Because I was at a church meeting recently in Kaltungo. They brought the vaccine there. They announced, so I didn't see people showing up because of what they already believe, and we must work hard to break that so that people will know that this is actually safe. This is also for our own goods. And sometimes, they come up with some kind of arguments that you cannot even defend.
Stakeholders are now challenged to come up with a strategy that will help boost vaccination against the COVID-19 pandemic in Gombe State. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
Zamfara State Deputy Governor Mahdi Aliyu and his party, the People's Democratic Party (PDP), have replied members of the State House of Assembly who accused the party of an attempt to bribe the lawmakers with dollars to shelve the planned impeachment of the State Deputy Governor. Principal Private Secretary to the State Deputy Governor Umar Gusau said his principal and the PDP considered the process of the impeachment against the Deputy Governor Mahdi Aliyu as illegal and cannot be part to illegality. The report.
The PDP noted that the matter is pending at the Federal High Court, Abuja, insisting that whatever action taken by the Assembly amounts to illegality. Members of the Assembly had on Tuesday maintained that no court will stop the impeachment proceedings against Mahdi Aliyu.
Number 1, fraud, conspiracy to cheat, diversion of public funds, false representation of expenditure. False representation of expenditure. All these offences were either committed by him or under his watch. That is the Deputy Governor, Barrister Mahdi Aliyu Gusau. Therefore, let the gentlemen of the press be aware that no court proceedings or order can stop impeachment processes initiated by the Honorable House, lawfully in accordance with 188 subsection 10 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Justice Inyang Eko had on Monday declined to order parties to maintain status quo ante in the suit instituted by the Deputy Governor to stop his impeachment by the State House of Assembly, but instead ordered counsels for Mahdi and Mutawalli to respond to the originating summons and adjourned the matter to March 10 for hearing.
The House of Representatives is making arrangements to ensure that voting by lawmakers on the bills seeking amendment to subsections of the 1999 Constitution is credible and transparent. The test run is conducted Wednesday during plenary with the computers installed for the purpose of electronic voting, which has been adopted for the exercise coming up in 2 weeks' time. The current Constitution review is the 5th exercise conducted by the National Assembly. Key thematic areas of the exercise by the 9th National Assembly include local government autonomy, judicial reforms, national security and electoral matters. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajagbiamila, says adoption of electronic voting is essential.
Essential ingredients of that constitutional democracy is to be able to determine for the people back home that we represent whether we're protecting their interest or we're voting in their interest or not. So the voting, electronic voting, is not just about the numbers, it's about the record and the pattern of voting.
Meanwhile, the Senate has confirmed the nomination of 5 candidates by President Muhammadu Buhari as Commissioners of National Population Commission, NPC, and also confirmed 4 other nominees as Commissioners of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC. The report.
The confirmation of the nominees followed the consideration of 2 separate reports by the Committees on National Identity, National Population and Power. 2 separate presentations were made by Senators Yau Saabi Alhaji and Gabriel Susan, who both chaired the respective committees. 5 nominees were confirmed as Commissioners of National Population Commission, NPC, after the Chamber considered the report.
The committee has diligently screened the following nominees and found them suitable and hereby recommends them for confirmation as Commissioners of the National Population Commission. Chief Engineer Benedict Effiong, Akwa Ibom, Ms. Gloria Patea Ozumfo, Bayelsa State, Barrister Kufchi Patricia Ori Iyanya, Benue State, Dr. Haliru Bala from Kebbi State, Dr. Eitayo Oyenkuli from Oyo State. Our prayers, Mr. President, that the Senate do confirm the nomination of the 5 nominees as Commissioners of the National Population Commission.
Will the Senate confirm the nomination of Chief Engineer Okpon Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC? Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The nomination of Chief Engineer Benedict Okpon Effiong, FCSE, from Akwa Ibom State is hereby confirmed as Commissioner of the National Population Commission, NPC.
In addition, 4 nominees were confirmed as Commissioners of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission after the Chamber considered the report.
In view of the foregoing, the committee recommends that the underlisted nominees be confirmed. Dr. Yusuf O. Ali as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, North Central. Engineer Chidi Ike as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulation Commission, Southeast. Mr. Dafesi Akweneye as Commissioner of the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, South-South. Mr. Nathan Rogers Shati as Commissioner of Nigerian Electricity Commission, Northeast. Prayers, Mr. President, that the Senate do consider the report of the committee and approve its recommendations.
In a related development, the Senate confirmed the nomination of Mrs. Emily Chidinma Osuji as Executive Director of the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, NDIC. The confirmation of the nominee on Wednesday followed the consideration of the report of the Committee on Banking, Insurance and Other Financial Institutions.
And now let's join Chamun Dabeng for business news.
Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPC, says it has over 1 billion litres of clean premium motor spirit (PMS), also known as petrol, in its stocks for nationwide distribution. It also said 2.3 billion litres of PMS would arrive in Nigeria between now and the end of the month to restore sufficiency. Petrol supply chain was disrupted last week when the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority (NMDPRA) announced that it discovered methanol quantities above Nigeria's specifications. NNPC, however, noted that it has started running 24-hour operations at its depots and fuel stations to bridge the gap in the supply chain. The regulatory body has said it regrets the hardships it caused Nigerians by the importation of off-spec premium motor spirit known as petrol. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mele Kyari, while appearing before the House of Representatives in Abuja on Wednesday, said the struggles for fuel would end by next week, with the efforts being made by the company to correct the anomaly. Nigerian agribusiness company Chief Farms Limited and member of TGI Group recently announced its partnership expansion with Hendrix Genetics, which will aid in increasing the production of layer day-old chicks in Nigeria. The farm breeds ISA brown breeder chicks at its grandparents' stock GPS farm, while it breeds commercial layer chicks at its parents' stock PS farm.
And now a look at the foreign scene, where Burkina Faso strongman Lieutenant Colonel Paul-Henri Demiba has been inaugurated as president on Wednesday, just over 3 weeks after he led a coup to topple elected head of state Roch Kabore. In a televised ceremony, Demiba swore an oath before the country's top constitutional body to preserve, respect, uphold and defend the constitution, the nation's laws and fundamental act of key decisions approved by the junta. Demiba, dressed in camouflage uniform and a red beret, wore a sash in the colors of Burkina's national flag. Meanwhile, no foreign representatives attended the ceremony in a small room in the offices of the Constitutional Council. On January 24, Demiba, 41, led officers to force Kabore out of public office over an anger in his handling of the bloody jihadist insurgency. Burkina Faso is one of the world's poorest countries and one of the most volatile in Africa. Now for sports news, over to Adeniyi Ajishafe.
Despite FIFA proposing to cut World Cup tournaments to 2 years as part of wider reforms of the international match calendar, a survey conducted by World Players Union (FIFPro) and national player unions around the world of more than 1,000 players covering 6 continents and more than 70 nationalities represent the most significant indication footballers' opposition to the proposal. 77% of players in Europe and Asia, 63% in the Americas and 49% of African players prefers 4 yearly World Cups, while 81% of players rank their domestic league or the World Cup in its current 4-year cycle as their favorite competition. Secretary Jonas Berg-Hoffmann says player survey shows most footballers around the world have a clear preference to play the World Cup every 4 years. The survey demonstrates the importance of domestic league competitions to players. FIFA's plans for a biennial World Cup from 2024 has met opposition from other European bodies, as UEFA President Alexander Seferin says European nations could boycott biennial World Cups if FIFA effects it.
And that wraps up Trust TV News Hour for tonight. Don't forget, you can subscribe and follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Ibrahim Yusuf. Thanks for staying with us.